You did a candid interview saying that early in your career, you were like okay with being average and that you wanted to get back to the national team and like step it up. And you knew you had more in you and more to give. And then you did that. Then you went to the Olympics, crushed it. Do you feel like it was like a mission accomplished, or how are your feelings now? Obviously, that the World Cup's coming up, and obviously we want to do well with Gotham. Or do you still feel like you're like on this up and up, or you're like, okay, I just have to be what I am now? Does that make any sense?
No, it doesn't make sense, but I know what you're trying to say.
Great, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it was just I feel like when I finally made it back to the national team, I was like, oh my God, like I made it back one camp. Like I accomplished everything I wanted to. Like I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I got back and I went to that like November camp and like scored a goal. And I was like, oh my God, I did it. Like I'm done. But then I like kept getting called back in and I must have been like doing okay. And then I was like, oh my God, could I maybe go to the Olympics? And then I was like, well, now that's my goal kind of thing. So it's like I was so happy to just get called back. But then I was like, no, now now my new goal is the Olympics. And then once I like made that Olympic roster, I was just like, oh my God, like I'm good. Like I did it. Like I made the Olympic roster. I'm going to like a major tournament with this team. Like this has always been a dream of mine. And then it's not like, it's weird because I feel like I was like, I've been underestimating myself this whole time, but I also just like, and I've said this before, I think in interviews and stuff, like I was almost like scared to admit, I said it with you guys actually, I think I was like scared to admit that like I really wanted to go to the Olympics or I really wanted to go to the World Cup because I didn't want to fail and then like had that goal and then fail and then like be disappointed and embarrassed. But now I just kind of like, I think I've just like come to terms with like feeling empowered and it's like, yeah, now I want to go to the World Cup and like I will do whatever I can and I have been doing whatever I can to make that roster. So it's just been like a constant like, I haven't been like lying to myself, but I also just like don't want to put too much pressure on myself at the same time. But yeah, I mean, it's been like a wild ride. I honestly don't know how people do this for 10 years or however many fucking years. Like, it's literally crazy just because your life just changes. It's so much more intense. Like, I talk to Sam, girlfriend Sam, all the time, and I'm like, how have you been doing this since you're like 15? And she's just like, she's her, you know what I mean? Like, she's just like, so put together and so like normal and like I'm the crazy one. It's just like wild. Like I don't get how people do this for so long. It's just like so intense and like very stressful. And I think obviously like I put a lot of that on myself, but it's been crazy and it's been like obviously my dream. I've been dreaming about this since I was 5 years old. So again, I'm just like admitting it to myself and to everybody else. Like I want to make this World Cup team and I'm just going to do whatever I have to get there.
Yeah. I don't know if this is how you feel, but it's how I feel. I feel like there's like two different types of players. Like the people that know they're in, I feel like can have not less stress. I just think it's different stress. Like it's just a different feeling versus myself, who's like more of a bubble, who I'm like, it's not only just the stress and the dream of the World Cup, but you're like, this could be my last opportunity. Or like me, I feel like I've put so much more stress, or it's like it feels like a bigger weight sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I think it's important to admit and like you said, like be vulnerable and say, you know, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to go for. And hopefully I get to that goal. But if I don't, then I'm going to be okay. And I think like that's the scary piece.
It just feels like it could be lately the feeling that I've been having is like it could get ripped away from me at any moment. Like, yeah. And then I'm obviously like a little bit older in my career. So it's like, oh my God, like, will this be it for me? Like, if I don't make this World Cup team, like this is so deep, but like, do I feel fulfilled in my career? And that's like such a scary thought.
Oh no, I have those thoughts all the time too.
Yeah.
I think it's
like,
natural.
Yeah. So I think that's like being a bubble player. And then like, I've also like never really won anything. I mean, yes, I won the Challenge Cup, but I've never won an NWSL championship. I've never like won a college championship. I just feel like being named to this roster, like I feel like everything that I've done my entire life will have been worth it. This is so deep. I hate it. But that's like actually how it feels to me. And maybe it doesn't seem that deep to like other people, or maybe it's like, it's true.
It
like
does.
people who are like lock-ins, I think they feel different pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas I feel like this is actually going to like change my life and change how I view my career. And that's like really hard to stomach every single day waiting for the roster to come out.
No, I completely agree.
You know?
I also feel like, and I went through this with the last World Cup too, if I don't, the public embarrassment that you feel. And I feel like going through that and realizing who cares what everybody else thinks has really like helped me with this time around, being like, I'm just going to give it my all. I have to take it game by game, day by day, and hopefully that this happens. But I feel like before I was like, if I don't do this, then my lifelong goal is like not there, my career, the whole like fulfilling part. And then on top of that, I'm failing in front of so many people. And maybe now that I'm older, I'm like, well, yeah, all those things are still true, but like, who cares?
Yeah. On the flip side of it too, it's like both me and you, and I'm sure like a lot of other people, I will make sure that I have done everything that I possibly can to make the roster. Like I will not have, right now I don't have one regret at all, but like up until that roster gets named, I will not have one regret. And I feel like that, whether I like make it or not, like that is what will determine if like I feel fulfilled or not. And there are obviously so many other important things in life, like other than soccer, but like I feel like this is just a whole lifelong thing, like kind of coming into, what's that word? Like fruition? Fruition?
Yeah.
Fruition?
Coming
If I
into
don't say it loud
fruition.
enough,
Fruition.
then nobody knows what I'm trying to say.
How do you
No,
actually say it? I've never actually been able to say that word. Fruition? Fruition?
I think it's fruition.
Fruition?
Fruition?
Is it coming to fruition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like as if it's a ripening fruit? Coming to fruition. Ripening.
Yeah.
Fruit.
But anyways,
Ooh.
you know what I mean.
I agree. And I think that also something to remember, or at least I tell myself, these are things I tell myself to calm myself down, is I have and every single person on the team or who's in the pool has a special something about themselves. And if I'm picked, then they just want that special thing. They think it will be part of the team. And if not, then that doesn't mean I'm a bad player. Or it doesn't mean that I don't have something to give. They just don't see that fitting within the group of people. And so I think that it's like, I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to have no regrets on the part that I'm doing. But at the end of the day, it's up to one person's subjective opinion. And that's the part where you're like, you can't get overwhelmed or like I think if you go like think about it too much, you can go down a rabbit hole.
Thank you both so much for sharing all that. That was like amazing.
Sam, I'm going to start going to Kristie for deep stuff and deep talks now.
What is this? We Hate Sam episode? Sam
I'm just
stinks.
joshing.
Well, that was awesome, you guys. Thank you so much, seriously, for sharing that.